All right, we're gonna take and start getting ready for our cheese sauce for the broccoli cheddar cheese casserole. 1 stick of butter. Basically, we're gonna be doing a roux to start with before we add the cheese in. So, a stick of butter to start with. Then you're gonna need flour. You're gonna need milk. I like using some heavy whipping cream too. It gives it a real smooth velvety texture to it. Back that off a little bit. Don't exactly want to brown the butter. One thing I use a lot is Kentucky Colonel seasoned flour. Now, I'm going to kind of blend that 50-50 with regular flour. Real good. I like mixing it half with this and half with cornmeal for when I'm frying fish and other fried things. Been using it for years. That butter melted good there. The cheese sitting out. We're going to use a triple cheddar mix tonight in this. Alright, we just about got a butter melted down there. Okay. Now this roux, we're going to keep pretty light roux. Unlike if you watched Mike Chavez the other day, when he's doing a dark roux. We've actually got 3 different stages of roux that they refer to. Light, blonde, dark. Some people use different times. Just depends. And basically all you're doing is getting that flour cooked off in there so it's not raw. Touch of regular flour to it also. And depending on how it's going, you may need to add a little extra butter if you get too much flour in there. You'll know soon enough. That's pretty good consistency for roux to make a cheese-based sauce with. Like I say, I can't tell you exactly how much flour I use. It's usually by sight and how it's doing. So I got it on my lowest setting on my gas stove at the moment. And you can probably already see it starting to bubble up down in here. Just keep an eye on it. You want to keep stirring it pretty constant overall. About 2 cups of milk in it. And then we're going to add about another cup of heavy cream in with that. Okay, you can see it's starting to cook off there. It doesn't have that as wet a texture look to it anymore. We can still go a little bit more than that. You can smell that butter and flour in there as it's getting there. Your nose is your biggest friend when you're cooking. Baking, grilling, it don't matter what it is. Your nose will tell you when things are done. The more you get used to it, and the more you do it, the easier it is. But if you've never made a roux before, Google it. You'll find a basic recipe on this somewhere. I got Patriot James of Catfishers of America playing in my ear while I'm doing this. Y'all check out his YouTube channel. Comes on every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Has some good guests on there. Makes a real good bobber too. Catfishing bobber. Out of pool noodles. Comes with a light on it and everything. Give them a try. There's several ways you can use them. Use them more like a normal bobber. You can rig it up kind of like a planer board. If you want to know how to do that, check out Junior Proctor. He's got a YouTube channel also. He's out fishing with his grandson a whole lot. Nice fine young man there. So that's a shout out there to them fellas. If I remember to, I'll try to put the links to their channels. Okay. We're going to start adding this milk in and heavy cream. Now don't put it all in at once. Depending on what kind of pan, you can start using a whisk if you want. But see the consistency of that? When you add that heavy cream in, it's got a silky look to it. Just put a little bit to start with, because you get it all in there at once, you're gonna have problems. You'll have it wanting to scatter and fly off the spoon or the whisk. See, got that much incorporated pretty good there. Then go with another third of it. If it gets a little thick, not all is lost either. You can slowly incorporate some more regular milk back into it too and thin it out a little bit. Takes a little more time, a little more work if it gets too thick for you. However much milk and cream you put in, that's pretty much how much sauce you're going to get out of it. Same thing for making white gravy for biscuits. If you want to fill up a bowl looking for gravy, once you get your roux and your flour backed off there, your flour and butter and so forth, take the bowl you want to fill up, fill that bowl with your milk, or milk and cream mix, heavy cream, whipping cream mixture. And then just slowly pour that in. What you're going to end up with is the same amount just to fill that bowl. Okay, we got a pretty good incorporation going here. And yeah, it looks thin as can be right now. But as that heat builds up in that, it's going to thicken up and it's going to pull it together. And more than likely, we'll probably add the rest of that cream on in there. Maybe even a little bit more milk. But while it's thin, get your pepper mill out if you got one. Cracked peppercorn. It's much more flavorful. I already cracked some in the bowl and got a little Himalayan salt in there, that pink salt. Might add a little more pepper in yet, depending on how it looks. Not a whole lot of salt in there, because I got a few other kinds of salt over here. This is a chipotle infused sea salt. Get a little chipotle in there. That should be about enough of that. And then I'm going to put a little extra ground chipotle in there that's not on the sea salt. Maybe about a quarter teaspoon or so, maybe a little bit more. Not a whole lot. You want this to be flavorful. You want your spices to burst forth through the cheese and complement it. You don't want heat, a hot spice. I'm not putting jalapeno seeds and all that into something. You can already see it starting to thicken up some there. Remember, you're making a sauce. Next thing I'm going to put in there is a little bit of smoked paprika. You know, maybe about a teaspoon or so. Like I say, this is all according to how you like things. You can use all kinds of spices and flavorings. And our last little thing, Frank's Red Hot, the original. Now people see that hot sauce, they think, oh, it's gonna be too hot, a lot of heat. No, Frank's has got a lot of flavor, not a lot of heat. As the old commercial goes, the little old lady, I put that shit on everything, which I kind of do. So it don't take a whole lot, maybe about a teaspoon or two, half. Just whatever you want for flavor. It's gonna add a little coloring into that too. Keep it stirring. You don't want to burn the bottom of that. Remember, you got milk in here now. You don't want to scald that milk. See, it's getting that nice color to it. You can see your spices in there. Real good mixture. You can smell them spices while you're standing over it as that heat gets through there and infuses it all in there. Wooden utensils, I love them. That's your first non-stick use utensil before they came out with all these plastic coated things. Great for cast iron, non-stick materials. About the only non-stick stuff I have is pots like this. Got bigger ones, of course, stainless steel, but all my frying pans, for the most part, they are cast iron. Now see how it's thickening up there? So let's add a little bit more of this heavy whipping cream in there. I don't want it too thick yet. I haven't even added the cheese. But don't dump everything at once. You cannot say that too many times. Infuse it in there. A little bit of time. Oop, that went a little heavy cream splattering over the top. And still got a little bit of cream in there. We'll hold up on that and see. Never too much thing, too much cheese. Of course, that's coming from the next dairy farmer. I'm gonna save a little bit of it, sprinkle over the top. Yeah, now it's thickening up. Let's get the rest of this cream in here. Like I say, there wasn't that much left in the thing anyway. Let me thin this out with a little regular milk, get a little bit more. This stuff will keep good in the fridge for a while. I mean, Super Bowl party coming up, what you making now, if you make extra, put it in an airtight sealed container. Put it all in the fridge. Man, you got a real good unusual queso base dip there. Add you a few more Mexican spices and so forth in there if you want. Even get you some jalapenos and stuff. I'm gonna clean out this with a regular milk. Heavy whipping cream container. No sense in wasting that. There we go. I imagine this is gonna put it right back where I want it. Because it's gonna get more heat yet. Pour it over the broccoli and for the broccoli casserole. And we'll top it off with some panko breadcrumbs. Probably some bacon bits. Now that is good. Oh my. That ain't just good, that's damn good. All right, and get your casserole pan, whatever size you want, whatever size you plan on doing it. One thing I do recommend, hit it with a little spray. You don't want that cheese sauce burning and sticking to it. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. You can use fresh broccoli, you can use frozen broccoli. Whatever you want. When you cook up your broccoli, don't cook it till it's all mushy and squishy. Leave it with a little crunch to it, because like I say, this is going to be going back in the oven to bring it all together. And take and break your chunks down so they ain't as big. See, it's still got a little strength to it there. That's another big piece of stem there. Yeah, I got a trash can over here right behind me. I'm not tossing them on the floor or anything. We ain't that bad in Kentucky now. Alrighty. So that makes a pretty good dish there. It's about half full all the way across. I don't know what size dish it is. Like I say, you're cooking for whatever your needs are. Now, I'm going to pour some of this cheese sauce over here, and as we get going, we'll see how much we put on it and how much extra we might have left over. Basically, give it a good covering where you can get it all the way across the top before you start incorporating. So we still got a little bit left there. Kind of get that on down in there. All right. Now for the topping. First off, some panko breadcrumbs. Well, that ought to about do it. We can always add a few more if we want to. So we're going to add a little more chipotle in with these. Just enough to make a light covering on top. Just a touch more paprika. Crack a little more black pepper on into that. Don't really need much more of any salt on there. We pretty much got most of the salt in our bases. I got these bowls, got the lid on them. Shake that up good, get that seasoning mixed in there. Cast iron pan out now. We're going to hit it with a pat of butter in there. And then we're going to kind of butter toast these in the pan before we put them on top of our casserole. I'm going to go ahead, set my oven. You don't need a real hot oven for this. You're just kind of bringing it together. So probably about 275. Oops, didn't quite hit the 2. Because I'm going to take and be warming this back up tomorrow. I just want to pull it all together right now. As you can see, all that spice mixed in there real nice and good. Like I say, these are already crispy. I'm just adding a little butter in there and spice with them. And butter is one of them. Like I say, we're just kind of toasting this up a little bit. You can see a little brown around the edges down in there now. Get that other piece of butter down in there so it'll start melting. And you can start hearing it sizzle a little bit. Just keep moving it around gently. Now we're going to start spreading her over the top there. You want a nice even coating. And it depends on you on how much crunch you want. When you start digging it out, it'll spread through further. I think that looks pretty good right there. Alright, I'm getting some of this bacon crisped up. I'm going to chop it up. And then it's going to sprinkle across the top of them breadcrumbs next. And then we're going to top it off with a little bit of loose cheese on top of that too. And that'll pull it all together. Just going to sprinkle on the top there, that's all. It can makes everything taste better. About like bourbon. And then our final thing, take the rest of that cheese that we got and put your nice little layer of cheese over the top of that. All right, let's see what we got now. Been in the oven for a little bit. Okay, as you can see, it started browning off. Some of that top cheese getting nice and crispy. That's going to be some damn good eating. I hope you enjoyed this. Give it a try. I don't have an exact recipe to give you. You can always Google broccoli cheese casserole. Get you a basic idea. If you're not used to working on your own in the kitchen a whole lot, or you can probably kind of take notes throughout this video and get a good idea of what's going on. Let's say I cook a lot to taste and preference. I've been doing it quite a while. And this is what we got. Peace, y'all. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.